Today on Martha Bakes, we're going to show you one recipe for a delicious cake, a yellow cake, and 3 variations on that theme. Wouldn't you like to serve a birthday cake that looks like this inside? It's a superb cake filled with an orange curd and coated with a rich chocolate ganache. This was my dad's favorite birthday cake. For a very fragrant and delectable upside-down cake, use that same yellow cake batter and a little fresh fruit. When it's inverted, this upside-down cake is the best you've ever tasted. And this is a strawberry cupcake, incorporating fresh chopped strawberries, a little bit of strawberry jam, and topped with a fresh strawberry Swiss meringue buttercream. Couldn't be a better cupcake anywhere. We'll show you how now on Martha Bakes. Edward Kostyra's favorite birthday cake is comprised of a yellow cake with chocolate frosting and orange filling. So utterly delicious. When we were growing up at 86 Elm Place, every August 21st was my dad's birthday, and we baked him his favorite cake, the Edward Kostyra yellow cake. I'm going to show you how to make this very, very old-fashioned but very good birthday cake. So 8-inch pans, 2 inches high, and we want to cut parchment rounds that'll fit right in the bottom of the pan. To do this, just take a single sheet of parchment like this, fold it in half, and trace around the bottom of the pan. And just cut these rounds out. I've already done that so that you don't have to watch me paper cut. So here's 2. And then you want to butter your cake pans well with softened butter and a brush. My mom always used a piece of waxed paper and softened butter to butter her pans. I don't remember ever seeing a pastry brush in our house when I was growing up, so maybe that's why. Now you can just put your round right in the bottom. This will enable you to get the cake out with no trouble whatsoever. Now butter the paper. Do this to both layers. Oh, and the other thing that you do before you start your batter is turn the oven on to the correct temperature. This cake calls for a 350-degree preheated oven. Okay, so now we want to do a light flouring. Just put a little flour, a tablespoon or so, in your pan. Just turn and knock off the excess into your next pan. There, see? Very well buttered. Okay, so now we start, sift our dry ingredients. So we want 1½ cups of cake flour. So that's 1 cup and a half. And we need 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. 1 cup and a half. And 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Make sure your baking powder is fresh. Whatever kind of leavening you use should be fresh and tested. And it's a good idea to not leave your baking powder uncovered. Cover it as soon as you use it. And 1 teaspoon of salt. And just sift your dry ingredients. Now, we have butter, 2 sticks of butter that are soft, room temperature, and we're going to cream the butter with 1 3/4 cups of sugar. And to that, we're going to add, as soon as this is creamy, we're going to add 4 whole eggs. Out of the shell, of course. Some people would think whole egg, you just drop that in. No, take the egg out of the shell. Growing up in a family of 6 kids with a very active kitchen, we really didn't have any money to go eat out. There wasn't really fast food at that time, so we cooked everything. We're now going to add our eggs 1 at a time. Beat well after each egg is added, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 1 1/4 cups of milk at room temperature. When you're baking a cake like this, just like when you're baking pound cakes, everything should be at room temperature, including the milk. Okay, this looks really good. And now it's time to add the flour and the milk, and your batter's done. It's so easy to make a cake. Take a big spoon like that, and we're just gonna add the flour. A little bit at a time, and a little bit of the milk. You want everything to be well incorporated, but you do not want to mix too much. A little bit more milk, and the last bit of flour. The elusive last bits. We'll scrape the beater. Now fill your pans. Put an equal amount. One way you can do that is to use a scale to measure out the batter, or eyeball it. So this is going straight in the oven. Set your timer, and this cake should bake for 30 minutes. Now, another cake that I love to make, especially when fruit's in season, is the upside down cake. Remember the pineapple upside down cake with the red cherries that Mom used to make with canned pineapple and those maraschino cherries? Well, this is actually in the same vein, but so much better. And the batter that we just made for the yellow cakes fills 5 6-inch cakes. And we're going to spray with a vegetable spray, like that. Put a parchment round in the bottom, spray again. And that should come right out. Now, into the bottom of these pans goes a wonderful mixture of brown sugar, maple syrup, dark rum, and vanilla, and butter. And so I'll show you how to make that right now. We're using nectarines here that are cut into small wedges, and 2 kinds of plums. We have red and black sugar jewel plums. And into the 16 tablespoons of butter, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. So there is something else to do with all that maple syrup other than put it on waffles and pancakes. And 1 tablespoon of dark rum. So flavorful. Then 2 cups of packed light brown sugar. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And don't forget 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get that nice and smooth. And we have some that we already made over here. This is the mixture that you can arrange your fruit in. So we're going to put a little layer in the bottom of each of the pans. So just spread that evenly with your little offset spatula. Oh, 1/4 of an inch is fine. There, just like that. And in here, I guess I'll put the nectarines. And remember, the design that you arrange in the bottom is the design that you're going to see when you turn the upside down cake right side up. Concentric circles of fruit, whatever is pleasing to your eye. And into this one, some more of the maple brown sugar mix. Oh, I want to do the dark red plum. That's so pretty. They've come up with a whole bunch of good mixes of fruit too. Plucots, which are plum apricots, nectarine plums. Every conceivable hybrid has been created. So there's the dark red plum. Alternatively, you can make 36 mini upside down cakes. Lightly spray 3 12-cup muffin tins with nonstick cooking spray. Then add 1 tablespoon of this sweet, buttery spread into each cup. Place 1 or more slices of fruit in each cup. Then top with the yellow cake batter, about 2 ounces. And now for the bigger ones, the batter will fill approximately 5 of them. The upside down cakes bake in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. And the mini upside down cakes take 20 to 25 minutes. So you can see how the individual upside down cakes turned out. They're so pretty. Each one, the dark plum, the lighter plum, they really do look very, very cute, and they are so tasty. And these 6-inch, well, once they come out of the oven, they should cool for about 25 to 30 minutes. I'm loosening around the sides with the offset spatula, and I'm going to turn it right onto the plate. This is a serving plate, and hopefully this one will loosen as nicely and as easily as those did. It's gorgeous. Look at that. Now these 6-inch cakes would probably serve 4 generously and 5 or 6. These are individual servings, served with whipped creme fraiche, vanilla ice cream, even plum ice cream. Would that be good? Try them, you're going to love them. And now for the filling for my father's birthday cake. We're making an orange curd. It's so delicious. It's nice and thick. It's made with fresh juices and lots of fresh egg yolks, 12 egg yolks. And right into the same pan, we're going to add the sugar, 1.5 cups of sugar, the zest of 2 oranges, and so the zest goes right into the bowl, and we have 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed orange juice, and we have 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Stir this together, and it already looks orangey and delicious. And you're going to cook over medium-low heat, stirring constantly with a wooden spoon. Do not walk away from the curd. You never leave the egg yolks on the stove to curdle. Get this started. I have a flame right here, medium-low. The orange goes very nicely with the chocolate. It's kind of a traditional pairing, and my dad loved it. Okay, these have thickened. You can see how the wooden spoon is getting coated. Look. And now it's time to take this off the heat and add the butter little by little. So here you have this rich orange curd about to be. The butter, because it's cold, is starting to cool down the curd. Now, if you want a really smooth curd, you can strain this. My dad loved the orange peel. We never strained it. This will stay in the refrigerator for, up to a week or a week and a half. And we have one that's already chilled. So now the cake layers are finished. They look very, very good. And I want to show you how I slice these in half. I've come up with a method that works very, very well. Using a 1/4 sheet for this size cake, I would like to first take off that uneven little crown of the cake. There, that looks good. And now watch, this is so great. See, the blade is resting on both sides of the pan. And you have a very nice layer of cake here, and a very nice layer of cake here. So good. And do the same thing with the other layer. Here is our orange curd, and you want about 1/2 cup of orange curd between each layer. So you're going to have a leftover curd. Oh, doesn't that look good? Very luscious. And leave about 1 inch, because the weight of the cake is definitely going to push this curd to the edge. So easy. And then put one of your layers right on top of that. Another 1/2 cup of curd. I'm going to use the other layer like this. Added bonus. And now this one goes right on top. There we have it. Now, to make sure that this stays secure in the refrigerator while it chills, insert 3 bamboo skewers into the cake, like this. These, of course, will be removed after the cake is chilled. So it's very easy and very neat, and you will have a delicious birthday cake. Now this is an old-fashioned chocolate frosting. In fact, my mom made recipes like this. You need 1 pound of semi-sweet chocolate, and I found that the serrated knife is by far the easiest way to break the chocolate into small pieces for melting. And we need 1 pound, and now we're going to add little by little 2 2/3 cups of whipping cream that's been brought to a boil. The finer that it is chopped, the quicker it melts. And to keep it a little bit soft, add 1 teaspoon of corn syrup, just a teaspoon. And I'm going to now switch over to a whisk because we don't want any lumps whatsoever. You can see it's shiny, it's glossy. Let this cool for about 10 minutes. You can then set it over a bowl of iced water. And we have one that's already chilled, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's our ganache once it's chilled. It's thin and lustrous, and we're going to just spoon a little bit on top of the cake, and we're going to do a crumb coating. What a crumb coating does is cover the crumbs, cover any nooks and crannies. And we have one cake that's already been crumb coated and chilled, and it's on a stand that was just like the stand that we used for my father's cakes. To not get your final cake stand messy, you use these little strips of parchment paper underneath your cake. When you're done, you just pull those out and no mess. Oh, it looks so good. You don't have to do too much. In fact, the less you do, the better. There, I'm gonna leave it just like that. Oh, so pretty. And now, chill this, then pull out the papers, and you have your cake ready to serve right on the final pedestal. There you have it, Edward Kostyra's birthday cake. It's delectable. And now for the third variation of our yellow cake recipe, cupcakes. Everybody wants a good recipe for cupcakes, and these are delicious when strawberries are in season. So we've cut up enough strawberries to make 1 cup of finely diced strawberry, and we're folding it into 1 batch of the yellow cake batter. And that is your cupcake. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So there it is, beautifully. See, it already starts to turn a little bit pink. Use a 2-ounce ice cream scoop and fill your cupcake papers. We're using very cute pink paper. I love these. And this recipe makes 30 cupcakes. Get your cupcakes into a preheated oven and bake for 20 minutes until they're a light golden brown like this. Take them out of the oven and cool them on racks. And now for the Swiss meringue buttercream. Swiss meringue icing or frosting differs from all other frostings in that the egg whites, and in this case, 8 large egg whites, and the sugar, 2.5 cups of granulated sugar. That's 1, 2.5. And put this right on top of some simmering water. You can simulate your own bain-marie or double boiler by doing it this way. Whisk until they are warm. After about 6 minutes, it's time to move it back to the mixer. It'll take about 6 minutes for the egg whites to completely cool down. In the meantime, we'll prepare the butter for our Swiss meringue buttercream. Put 6 sticks of unsalted butter into the bowl of a stand mixer. The butter should be room temperature and not too soft. Beat the butter until it's light and fluffy. When the egg whites are fluffy and cool, add the butter in small batches. Make sure you beat well after each addition. Then add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 1/2 cup of strawberry preserves. And then stir into the meringue buttercream 2 cups of strawberries that have been hulled and finely diced. Now you're ready to frost your cupcakes. You can just start in the center and go around. I like these individual stars. That's a pretty one. They don't all have to look the same. But if you want to make a consistent pattern, do it. Oh, and by the way, look what I found in my garden. These are called fraises de bois. And these are tiny little woodland strawberries. These look so pretty, just one on top of each cupcake. So beautiful. Fresh strawberry cupcakes are fantastic. From Martha Bakes.